Yo, what's good, family? Before I start the show today, what I would like to do is bring something to your attention. Not like I have to do this, but I just want to make sure that I do it for the sake of the True to Success podcast. Here's what we're going to do. When we taped this show, it was going to be the end of January, and some very tragic situations has just happened. Two people who were murdered by the name of Renee Good and Alex Petit. To see this happening, I sometimes choose not to go political, but today I want to have a conversation. And before we have that conversation, what I would like to do is honor these two people by giving a moment of silence to these two individuals, praying and sending our condolences to their families. Thank you.
Welcome to the True to Success podcast, a space created to help you slow down, reset your mind, and realign your life from the inside out. This podcast is about real growth, not pressure, not perfection, but clarity, responsibility, and personal power. Here we talk about identity and purpose, letting go of what you can't control, building emotional awareness, strength through humility, and learning how to move forward without losing yourself. True to Success is coaching, not preaching, conversation, not performance. Each episode is designed to help you breathe, reflect, and take ownership of your next step, one honest moment at a time. This podcast is led by Dave Shelton, motivational speaker, life coach, and founder of True to My Soul Enterprises. Dave's work focuses on emotional regulation, personal responsibility, inner alignment, and helping people build lives that feel grounded, intentional, and true to who they are. To learn more, explore additional reflections, and continue the work beyond the podcast, visit www.truetomysoul.com. That's TRU2MYSOUL.com. That's truetomysoul.com. Now settle in, take a breath, and welcome to the True to Success podcast with Dave Shelton.
So what's up, family? What's good, family? This is the True to Success podcast, and I am your host, Dave Shelton. I'm here to help you get your mind right and your soul inspired. This is your turn, your place, your space, your time to breathe, reset, and step into your power. Actually, we're stepping into our peace now. So before we get started here today, I want to tell you that we're going to have a conversation today that might be a little rocky, but what I want you to do, I want you to stick with it. I want it to stay with you. I want you to handle this with kid gloves, as if you were eating a bite of the very hottest, spicy chicken wings today. I want you to take your time with it because I think you deserve it. So the other day I was scrolling through YouTube and I seen this video of these two kids being tested by this lady or surveyed, or they were given some type of questions. And the questions that came were a little different. So one kid was about 5 years old and the other one was about 13 years old. And the lady who was running this particular survey asked these kids some questions, but told them what the rule was. The rule was this simple. If a feather hits a glass, the glass will break. Now that's the rule, that if a feather hits the glass will break. Now here's the thing. You just heard the rule and you're looking at me like, what kind of rule is this? Or that this just doesn't make any sense. But if I simply told you what the rule was, I want you to hear me out, that if a feather hits a glass, the glass will break. So, okay, they started with the 5-year-old. And she asked a question to the 5-year-old. She said to the 5-year-old, okay, so Don hit the glass with a rock. What happened? The 5-year-old then looked at the lady and said, the glass broke. The lady then looked at the little boy and said, absolutely right. Because it's a rock, right? And of course, we all know that a glass will break if a rock hits it. Then she turns back to the 5-year-old and says, now, Don hits a glass with the feather. What happened? The 5-year-old then looks at her and said, nothing? And the lady then repeats herself about the rule. The rule is a feather hits a glass and the glass will break. So what happened to the glass when Don hit the glass with the feather? The little boy then says, nothing? And so then you can tell that the lady has gotten through to him that This is the rule. And she says, so why do you say that? And he said, because a feather can't break glass. And she says, but the rule says that the glass should break if you hit it with a feather. The little boy then said, but it didn't break. And she says, why not? Because the little boy says, because a feather can't break glass. So then the lady then turns her attention to the other child, which is 13 years old. Young lady, she looks a little older, and she asks her the question as well. Now, here's where it gets interesting. They ask the exact same question to this 13-year-old girl, and she hears the rule. She knows it don't make sense. Matter of fact, she even laughs a little bit when the lady asks the question. Like, this is so dumb, but okay. So when they asked her the question of what happened to the glass when the feather hit it, the 13-year-old then says, it broke. Not because it did, not because she's seen it, but because that's what the rule said. And it's that thing right there. That's the part that I really want to talk about today. Now, listen, I don't believe anybody wakes up in the morning and say, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm just going to stop thinking today, because it doesn't happen like that. That particular type of thought process is gradual. That thought process takes years of hearing, just do what you're told. Don't make this complicated all the time. You're always complicating things. That's just the way it is. So then after a while, people stop checking things to see, or they stop even asking, does this make sense? People don't even ask that question no more. They just hear something. Enough times, they just see things or know what to say, and they be like, all right, I guess that's what it is. Even when your own brain says, hey, hold up, that ain't right. And here's the funny part. You can see it not make sense. You can feel it not make sense, but you still nod your head like, yeah, okay. Not because you believe it, but because you're tired. And tired people will agree with stuff just so the conversation can end. And that's not weakness. That's exhaustion. And there's a lot of people out here in our world today that's exhausted. So this ain't about kids. This ain't about what happened to people over time. See, because that younger 5-year-old kid, he was just saying what he was seeing, what he understood. He ain't trying to be difficult. He ain't trying to break the rules. He's just being honest. Well, the older child, the 13-year-old, she's learned something else. She's learned that sometimes it's safer just to agree than to be real, even when what's real, it's right in front of you. And that didn't happen overnight. That's learned behavior. So I want you to know that I am not here to talk about politics. I'm not even here to tell you what side to be on. But I will say this. There's a lot of people out here that is feeling uneasy right now. Not because of just one person, not because of just one party, but because they're being told to accept things that don't make sense. You got two eyes and you can see it. And when that keeps happening over and over again, people start questioning themselves like, am I crazy? Am I tripping? Something wrong with me? Is it just me? Or did I miss something? I want you to know that that particular mentality, that kind of talk, messes with people's minds. Because when you tell people something long enough to ignore what they see, ignore what they feel, ignore what don't sit right with them, they stop trusting themselves. And once that happens, people usually go one or two ways. They either will shut down or they snap. So neither one is healthy, because pretending all the time is exhausting. And tired people, they don't think straight. They don't even listen well. They don't even communicate right because they just tired. So what I'm trying to say is that this podcast ain't about trying to fight anybody. It's about slowing down and thinking for yourself. I want you to know that you are allowed to say, hold on, let me think about that. You're allowed to question things without being loud, rude, or disrespectful. You're allowed to trust what you can see. That don't make you difficult. That makes you honest. And honesty is how you stay grounded. So let's finish this together today. Echo me, if you will. I can pause before I agree. I can think before I follow. I don't rush my truth. Say it again. I can pause before I agree. I can think before I follow. I don't rush my truth. Say it one more time. because you have a choice to either continue to believe everything that you hear or to start taking your time and looking at it. One last time with me. I can pause before I agree. I can think before I follow. I don't rush my truth. Beloved, I want you to understand something. You are greater than what you know. You are stronger than what you've been told, and you're deserving of all the good that life has to offer you. This is the True to Success podcast. I don't want you to let anybody convince you to doubt what you can see clearly. I want you to understand what you see is what you see. So slow down, stay grounded, and remember, when you trust yourself, you protect your peace, and your peace is your power. And with that, I say unto you today, trust your peace, trust your power, trust what you see. Namaste.
As we close today's session, I want you to remember this. Growth doesn't happen all at once. It happens in moments like this, when you slow down, reflect, and choose yourself with intention. If today's episode gave you clarity, perspective, or something to sit with, I invite you to continue to work with us. Visit www.truetomysoul.com. That's truetomysoul.com, where you'll find deeper reflections, tools, and resources designed to support your growth beyond the podcast. If you have questions, thoughts, or want to connect directly, you can email us at info@truetomysoul.com. And if this space has been helpful to you, make sure to subscribe to the True to Success podcast so you don't miss future sessions. Each episode is designed to meet you right where you are, with honest conversation, grounded coaching, and reminders that you're not behind, you're becoming. Thank you for spending this time with us. Until next time, stay grounded, stay honest, and keep doing the quiet work that leads to real success. We'll see you soon on the True to Success podcast with Dave Shelton.